Since when do you just, let your borders open to anybody? But, we already have that. What sane country just allows anybody? Look, they're learning their lesson about not letting just anybody into their country. France is learning that. France. Man, I just sound like I was from Central New York there. France. Maybe we should learn. Why don't they go? Why don't these people want to go to other places? I don't see them wanting to get in. Well, they're not going to other, Middle Eastern countries, which you got to ask yourself why. All these Syrian refugees and other refugees, they don't want to go to places like Saudi Arabia or Egypt or something. And why not? Legitimate question in my book. But they're also not wanting to go to places like, I don't know, India. Yeah, I don't think India would let them all in, but hey, they're not sticking around in places like Croatia and Hungary. They're trying to get through those countries to get to the more well-known European countries. But they are they're not wanting to go over there. They're wanting to come to the West for some reason. We know what the reason is, because they want to they want to infiltrate, and they want to try to kill us. Look, they've already tried. So, but this whole notion that everybody's just losing their collective minds over what Trump has said is just I'm just flabbergasted by how many, it seems like there's a united. Well, we know that the establishment doesn't want Trump to be the nominee in the first place, and it doesn't look like they really want Cruz either. Cruz has made his enemies, but to join up with the liberal Democrats is a little bit distasteful. I don't know if I could swallow that. I don't know how they can eat with those same mouths that they, give over to Democrats. I don't know how. I don't know how. Because you got Josh or Ernest over there saying, well, this disqualifies Trump. What do you mean it disqualifies Trump? Who the hell is he or Obama to determine who's qualified and who's not? Who's disqualified? This is the most asinine thing I've ever heard. When they start talking stuff like that, one, they're getting desperate, and two, they're making everything very, 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 very political. When this is not about politics. This is about the safety of this country. And they're just playing politics with it. Look, folks, they're playing politics with our lives. The lives of your family members, the lives of your coworkers. They're playing politics with your life. So if Donald Trump didn't say, well, we should have a moratorium, basically, on Muslim immigration, then he'd still be qualified to run? Just because he utilized his First Amendment privilege and said that we should halt the flow of immigrants from the Middle East, from Muslims. He's now, all of a sudden, he's not qualified. I think that's very astute, because I would have to say the same thing. I think he's showing that he is qualified. And I got to I'm a little disappointed in Cruz, because he didn't seem to take a position one where, like he was walking the tightrope. I don't know, maybe he realized that, or felt that he couldn't attack because he didn't want to attack Trump. He said he wasn't going to, but I guess maybe he felt that he really couldn't. And, because, the Trump and Cruz seem to be making some sort of, friendship is starting to build there. I don't know what exactly, Trump has said before that, Cruz could be his VP. He'd be on the short list, and Cruz has said that he would probably hire Donald to build the wall on the southern border. So there's this kind of mutual love fest going on right now. between the two of them. So, but what I'm surprised at is that he really didn't take a stand, but one way or the other. He's like, I'm not going to comment on another Republican. I mean, come on. But every time, look, this is another one of those things that they've tried to blow out of proportion. The problem is that sure, you've gotten the GOP heads and the leadership, the Republican Party. You got Paul Ryan and those types of things. They're not wanting Trump to gain any traction, of course. But the problem is that when they do stuff like this, they're giving all of the bonus points to Trump. Do you understand what I'm saying? They think that, hey, put up those. Let me give you an idea. It's like, or let me give you an example. It's like this is the Republican Party right now. Now keep this in mind. It in keeping with the season, because this is the Christmas season. So let's use the terms or the visuals of Christmas tree lights. Now you've got the C9s and you got the C7s, which are the large bulbs and medium bulbs, and you got the little tiny things, the smaller ones. I don't know what size they're C something. They may be C4s. And then you got the real tiny dot twinkle lights. So basically, you got the extra small, medium, and large. All right. So what you have here is when you're putting lights in. Now, if you follow the whole natural thing about putting your lights in your tree, what you're supposed to do is take those little twinkle lights. This is modern day decorating a tree. You take those little twinkle lights, that are the smallest ones, and you try to wrap those around as close to the trunk as possible. And then you take the small ones, which I think is C3s or C4s, and those go around that, but sort of out into the branches a little bit more. And then you take the medium ones, the C7s, and those are out on towards the edges of your Christmas tree. The smaller they are, the more of them that are packed together tight. So the little twinkle lights against it, there's a bunch of them. They're just, you might have 300 of those, and then maybe you have 200 of the small ones, and then 100 of the medium ones, and then maybe 25 or 50 of the extra large if you want it to go extra large, or you put the large ones, the C9s, out on the mantle or other places off the tree to help emphasize that those lights on the tree are kind of like twinkly stars. So what you have is you have Democrats and you have Republicans. And you got the Republicans who are the twinkle lights, the minorities, the really staunch ones who aren't falling for they're wrapped closest around the trunk of the tree, the trunk of the Constitution. They're not getting involved in all that other kind of crap. Because they realize, understand, it's not about what one person says. Sure, Donald Trump says let's stop immigrating, but those people, those twinkle lights closest to the tree, they're saying, well, that's a good idea. It's a constitutional thing. It's fully constitutional. If it's not constitutional, the judge will say, well, they believe that a judge will say so, but they've already spoken about this type of thing. So if it's constitutional, it does not matter if you're comfortable or uncomfortable with it. It's something that you have to do to protect the base of this country, the people of this country. There's a lot of things that people don't like to do, but they have to get done in order to protect the people of this country. So you have those little twinkle lights, and then you got some people may say they're like the Tea Partiers and the twinkle lights, and then you got the dyed-in-the-wool Republicans, not the GOPers, the Republicans. Okay, those are the small lights. So there's more of those. They're a little bit further away from the Constitution, a little bit further away from the trunk, and you may hear them kind of rumble a little bit about Trump. Like, yeah, well, he's, what he says, Trump just likes to make a scene and blah, blah, blah. Trump is not all that grand. He's not all that great, but blah, blah, blah. Those are the, they could be a Tea Partier as well. The Tea Party on the outside looking in of the group. They're kind of a Tea Partier. And then you have the C7s. Now, those are the GOPers. Those are the Reince Priebus types. The ones that and the Paul Ryans. Paul Ryan is there. Because he's talking about, this is not what the party's about. No, Mr. Ryan, that's a bunch of BS, because that's exactly what this party's about. We're called the General Opposition Party for a reason. We're not supposed to get along all the time just for the sake of getting along with the Democratic Party. Hell, that's why the party split in the first place. Did people know that this used to be the Republican Democratic Party? Yeah, it used to be together. And then they split back in the 1800s and formed the Republican and the Democrat Party. And the Republican also became known as the General Opposition because they were supposed to be thinking and doing the stuff opposite of the Democrats. So those are your C7s. Now your C9s, those are your moderates. Those are your Mitch McConnells. And your John Boehners. Now they're the biggest bulb out there on the tree, but they're also one of the most noticeable because they're on the outside. Everybody gets to see them first, so we get to see and hear from McConnell and the likes of them first. And they like to just shed this general kind of light because the twinkle lights, they like to twinkle on the inside. They stay close to the trunk of the Constitution. They just like to twinkle only on the trunk of the Constitution. And you get those on the outside of the trunk like McConnell with the C9, the big bulb was a general lighting task, just trying to light the whole tree up. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to be this big, open, big tent party type of thing. Let's open this up to everybody. No, the problem is the point is you're going to accept, or you're going to attract those with your that believe in your message. So you have to espouse your message, and your message is supposed to be, according to Ronald Reagan, bold color differences from the Democrats. So when Donald Trump says we should shut down the immigration process, what Donald Trump is doing is he is appealing to those twinkle lights and those small lights who all are agreeing and say yes, 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 because that makes sense. It's going to protect us, to protect the Constitution, protect our government, protect our way of life. And you have the two outer ones, which are the C7s and C9s, that just try to attract everything by shining the light on everything. Oh, no, that's not what our party's about. Yes, that is what our party's about, because the Democrats are out there with an open door policy that want to let everybody and their grandmother come in. And if the grandmother is carrying an Uzi, well, that's okay too. We're just going to blame the NRA if they shoot anybody. That's the way all that works, folks. But that's not the way it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be bold color differences. We have to be the party of the twinkle lights and the small lights. You let the Democrats be the giant C9s and bigger bulbs, because that's the difference. We're not supposed to be there. But that's exactly where you have the mid-level, the wonderful inside the Beltway GOP. They're at the C7 and C9 light bulb area where the Democrats are. They're pastel color differences. Ronald Reagan told us there can't be. We don't want pastel differences. We want big, bold, colored differences. I hope you get that analogy, because that's what Donald Trump is trying. Whether or not you believe Donald Trump is actually a twinkle light, if you think he's an actual conservative, is irrelevant. Because what he's saying is he's drawing out these people who are proving that they are not conservatives. And Paul Ryan, shame on him for siding with the Democrats in saying that that's not what the party's about. This Republican Party is supposed to be about the Constitution, protecting the people of this country, and that means you don't let the enemy in until you can figure out exactly who that enemy is.